Alright, so this laptop is having some problem charging, so we're going to be checking if replacing the charge port will work. This is a Lenovo W540. Okay, it turns on and everything, but it just doesn't charge the battery. So first what we're going to do is remove the battery. You just pull these two tabs out to the side. It looks like they lock in place, and then you can pull the battery out. Okay, just like that. We'll set it aside. We're going to undo the screws and then put them in order on the table so they don't get mixed up. It's always a good idea to try and put the screws that you removed back where you got them from. Okay. Alright, so we'll remove this screw here. There's a lot of screws to keep track of, so again, I just lay them out in the pattern that I remove them to make it easier. There are two hidden screws underneath these pieces here, so we are going to remove those as well. You're very likely going to have to use like a needle or something. I'm going to see if I can remove it with my fingernail. I doubt it, but yeah, let me use a nail or a needle. Okay, so use a needle, get underneath this little, the plastic cover here, and then just pop that up. Okay, we're going to set this aside. Sometimes we don't need to remove these. It might just be to hold the hinge, but I'm going to remove it just to be safe. Okay, so that I don't forget. Okay, just get underneath it with a needle just like that. Alright, and we'll set that piece aside. Okay, so we'll remove those two screws as well. Okay, I'll set that down. Again, try and keep these screws in order. You don't want to get them all mixed up because they can be different size, shapes, and lengths. And if you mix them up, you can damage the computer. Okay, this goes for every device. Alright, so there's a second screw, another screw over here. I guess that's the fourth screw. Okay, I got this screw here. Most likely the panel will just come up. Looks like they have like nice little access doors, so if you're just going to be working on some small components, it looks like you have access to the wireless card here. Unless I need to remove it, I'm just going to leave it in there. You got the CMOS battery here as well. Okay, let's open this door just to see what's underneath in case somebody just needs to do very basic open disassembly to work on upgrading things. Right, get those two screws up, pop it open just like that. Here you can see there's 4 slots for RAM, but they're only using 1 slot here. It's kind of weird. Alright, and then you got the 2.5-inch hard drive here. So all of these screws I'm removing with a PH1 or JIS1 screwdriver. Okay, so if you're wondering what you need to use to remove it, that's what I'm using. Okay. So then once you do that, it looks like you lift this part up slightly and then you can wiggle and pull this back. Feels like there's an SSD. Yes, there's an SSD in here. Okay. Get some stuff out of the way so I can put the SSD over there. Alright. Okay, so that's a 2.5-inch SATA drive. We're going to check what type of RAM. They put these little RAM space keepers. They don't actually do anything. Okay, and then you got the RAM here. So this is an 8 gig PC3L 12800S. So if you want to upgrade the RAM, you use DDR3 memory, and then you just get these. Make sure the speed matches the size. You can get different sizes if you want, but it's always better to have matching size and speed of everything. Okay, so I'm going to leave this little RAM spacer in place. I don't know why one's missing up here. Maybe they never had one there. Okay, if you're wondering, also this laptop has a water drain hole, so if you spill liquid in the keyboard, you don't want to flip your computer over. You want to let the water just drain out. If you flip it over, then the water that spills out of this drain can go over the edge of this spout and go into the computer. So this computer is actually designed to handle spills through the keyboard pretty well. Okay. All right, so let's remove the other screws here. Got those two. Okay, we got another screw off to the side here. Let's see. All right, then we got a screw over here. Got one screw inside this panel here. Alright, then we got two screws towards the bottom here. That looks like that's all the screws. I don't think we need to remove this silver screw. It's kind of off, like at an angle, so I'm not going to remove that. Okay, let me just take a quick look, see if I need to remove anything else. Alright, that looks like all the screws, so let's see if we can pop this thing open. This keyboard looks like it comes out separately, so let's see if we can remove that. It looks like this keyboard has the sliding mechanism. Yes, it does. Okay, so there's this plastic piece inside that you're supposed to slide up first. And this reveals some screws that are hidden. You might have to remove this. I don't know. No, you don't. Okay. Alright, so let's see if we can... Oh, this part's actually broken. So I don't know if this is going to work or not. Whoa, what is going on there? So I don't know if somebody must have tried to open this before because this plastic piece is cracked. I don't know if I'm going to be able to remove this keyboard if it's broken like that. Let's see what I can do. Let me try and push this back first. Yeah, somebody tried doing this and they popped this keyboard up. It's above the thing. Shouldn't be like that. There's no... Okay, this one doesn't have a keyboard lock. Oh man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to remove this keyboard. I guess we'll find out. Let me try and force it down. Nope, that's not gonna happen. Okay, so I don't know. Somebody tried to pry that open and damaged it. But normally you would slide this piece up and it would go up underneath, not on top the way it's doing this. That's kind of weird. I'm gonna try and remove it, and normally this underneath we're gonna have to use a PH or JIS 0 screwdriver to remove it. Let's see if I can actually remove this or not. Okay, so this bracket is sliding on top of the keyboard, which is kind of weird. Okay. I'm going to switch to the PH or JIS 0 screwdriver. And then we're just going to look for screws that are underneath this panel here. There's one here. Maybe after I remove this, I'll be able to fix the keyboard. Okay, there's the second screw there. There's the third screw here. Fourth screw here. Hopefully I'm not going to miss any. Fifth screw here. Is that all of them? I don't see any more. Okay, hopefully that's all the screws. Then we can hopefully just lift this keyboard out. You want to be careful because there are the cables underneath. There might be a hidden screw under here that I didn't catch, because this side is like even harder to pull up. So, oh yeah, there's one screw here underneath the caps lock. I don't know if I can get to that one. Barely. Okay. Okay, there we go. Let's see if hopefully that's it. know if anything else. There we go. Pulled it forward just like that. Alright, we're going to disconnect these two cables. So flip up those little latches and then we can pull these cables back. Alright, I don't know if I can fix this keyboard, it's broken. So this is supposed to wrap around the keyboard itself. Let's see if I can get it back in. Okay, it's kind of going in. So I'm trying to put this back into, get it wrapped over the keyboard itself. There we go. Okay. So I wrapped that part back over. Hopefully the keyboard will be fine. But yeah, normally that it's slid, it slides, as you can see. It's normally supposed to be slid underneath the keyboard like that, okay? Or the palm rest. Alright, so we're gonna set that aside. Okay, I don't know if I have to remove all of this. There's screws under here as well, excuse me. It looks like I'll have to, so I'm just going to disconnect all of these. After removing the battery, I didn't mention, but you want to press and hold the power button for about 10 to 15 seconds. That way we can disconnect all these other, this cable, this is the LCD or LVDS connector. It's very important that you press and hold the power button before you attempt this. Okay. Alright, I'm very likely going to have to take out the wireless antennas, at least the blue and black ones. Actually, I guess I'll take out all of them. Okay, so that should be good. We're going to flip up these little latches as well. We're going to pull these cables out. Okay, then we're going to remove the LCD or LVDS connector. You just pull up on it, just like that. Okay. And then the wireless antennas, it looks like I'm going to disconnect them. But let's remove the screws that are underneath here. This one I might have to remove the antennas first because there's this adhesive in the way. I'm going to switch back to the PH1 or JIS1 screwdriver. Let's use this needle and try and lift the adhesive out of the way. Flip up this connector. I believe this is the power button connector. Okay, so again, make sure you press and hold the power button and drain the power before removing that, otherwise you can't do it. It won't do anything. Alright, so let's flip this up. Let's see if we can pop this out or if we're going to have to remove more pieces. So I'm going to just slide my fingernail. You can use plastic pry tools or whatever you want. I'm going to try and just remove this top cover. Or actually, let's remove the CD drive real quick. There's one screw holding in the CD drive or the optical drive. Remove that screw as well. Okay, once you remove that screw, if you want, you can use the screwdriver to push on the side of it, just like that, to release it. Okay, and you can pull the CD drive out just like this. Oh, I'll keep that over here. Hopefully that won't be in my way too much. Let me see if I can move it somewhere else. Maybe there. Okay. Alright, so now let's go ahead and see if we can pull the top panel or the keyboard palm rest assembly off. Alright, I'm just sliding my fingernail along there, going down the sides, kind of prying it with my fingernail. You can use plastic tools again, but to me, this is the most convenient. Okay, I'm gonna go down this side some more. Alright. Oops, sorry, blocking the view. You get the point. I'm just lifting up this bracket. Alright, let me see what's being lifted with this. Okay, I don't know if I need to remove anything else to get this panel off. Feels like something is still holding it down. I don't know if that's supposed to come up separately. It feels like the plastic piece comes up separate. There we go. So I just pushed forward on the plastic piece, and then it's coming out like this. Okay, let's see, the back of the bracket's being a little tricky. Might have to kind of push or pull it a certain way. Let's see here. That's stuck that way, so I probably have to pull it forward. Okay, so I'm pulling it towards myself while I'm twisting it upwards. Just like that, and there we go. So, oops, there's a connector under there, it looks like. Oh, the trackpad connector, so you want to be very careful with that. Flip up that latch, and then pull that out as well. Okay, so hopefully that cable didn't get damaged. Alright, so we'll set this thing aside. There's not really this, there's some garbage in here. Okay, we're going to take that out. Not really much else under here. You can see the power button held in place with 2 screws. And then the trackpad has like 2 cables. I think this is, some models have a fingerprint reader, so it says FPR there. So that's what that's for. Alright, let's see. Where's the charge port connector? Because that's what I'm going to have to... Oh, it's all the way in the back here. So the charge port connects here, and it looks like it goes underneath. Oh man, I'm gonna have to completely disassemble this thing just to get to the charge port connector. That's kind of I hate that design. Okay, so it looks like, to make it easier, actually I'm probably going to have to remove all these wireless antennas and cables, because it is it's holding the screen down. So we're gonna pull the whole screen out as well. I really hope it's a charge port, because if it's not, that's gonna suck. Alright, so the wireless card I'm going to leave on there. There's just one screw. When you remove it, it pops up like the RAM and you can pull it out. But I'm just going to disconnect the antennas. So to do that, let me zoom in a little bit. To remove the antennas, you just grab on the tail as close as you can, and then you just pull up. Sometimes it helps to kind of wiggle it, but usually you just pull straight up on the tail, just like that. You can use tweezers if you want, but that's how I do it. Okay, just like this. And I didn't pay attention to the wiring, but it looks like the black one goes on the top one, and then the white or gray one goes on the lower one, which is weird because the triangle is black matched with the white cable. Or I could be forgetting, but I'm pretty sure it was that way. Usually it's not too important because the antennas are the same, but alright, so I'm going to just unroute these antenna wires so that way I can pull them through from the other side. Okay, the CMOS battery, it's probably glued in place, so I'm going to disconnect that as well. Right, just like this. I just get my fingernails underneath the wings of the connector and I just wiggle it and pop it up just like that. You can use tweezers if you want, but that's how I do it. Alright, so let's pull the wireless antennas through. Okay, with it up like this, it makes it a little bit easier. So I'm just going to try and route these antennas through. I'm going to use the needle just to help me grab them. Okay. Get there, and then I'm just going to thread it through. It helps to kind of look at the other side if you're threading the antennas through. But there we go. Okay, we'll also remove this wire and unroute it from the little cable management routing things. Okay, just like that. Okay, because we're going to be pulling the whole screen out. Alright, so we'll do the same thing with the blue and black wires. Pull those down. Okay, pull them through. There we go. Want to be gentle with these wires. Make sure if they're getting caught on something, just check the other end and make sure to help guide them through. Okay, just like that. Alright, and then we're going to just unroute all these wires, peel up this adhesive here. Right, unroute the wires. Same with the LCD cable wire. There we go. All right, so now we're going to flip this back over. Let's zoom out. Okay, and then we're going to undo the screws that's holding this in place. You do want to unroute this as well. All right. There we go. All right, so there's 2 screws holding down the hinges in place. So we're just going to remove those 2 screws. It helps to kind of push the screen out of the way. All right, again, try and keep all the screws in order because they are different size, shapes, and lengths. All right, now that we got that last screw out, should be able to lift this up. Okay, so we got that, and then we'll set the whole screen assembly aside. All right, now we're gonna have to pull up this metal panel. Okay, let me zoom out a tiny bit. Looks like, let's see, are there a bunch more screws here I need to remove or no? All right, there's quite a few screws that we're gonna have to remove. Let's remove this screw holding this metal bracket here. It's gonna get confusing. There's a lot of screws on this one. So again, try and keep them in order if you can. Okay. Alright, so got that. Gonna go across and then we're gonna get these screws. Okay. Alright, remove all the screws. There's another screw here holding this metal bracket as well. You're going to want to set aside all those little metal brackets. Okay. Now you can see it's getting more loose. And actually, I think the motherboard sticks onto this metal plate. So once we pull this off, I think we'll have access to the charge port. So that's kind of nice. All right, get that metal plate off as well. All right, so let's see here. I don't think we need to take out these little screws holding this plastic piece in place, but there are these 2 bigger black screws at the bottom we're gonna have to remove. I think those actually hold into the speakers from the way the screws are designed. See, they have this like smooth edge, and a lot of times they use those for speakers. We're gonna disconnect the speaker cable here. Just wiggle that. Just like that, and it pops out. Okay, and then let's see, I think we should be able to lift this out now. Yeah, okay, so here you can see this whole metal plate is coming up. I don't know if we missed anything. I think I got everything. I'm gonna flip it over just so that any loose bits can like fall out. Feels like there's lots of broken junk inside. Whoa, what is this? That looks like... This looks like it was part of a button or something, so... I don't know, they have a broken button there. I don't know where that came from. It's a side push button, it looks like. I don't see where that would have even come from. Kind of strange. This looks like... It also looks like it has some liquid damage or something. Maybe they dropped this inside from somewhere. I don't know. Alright, so we're going to lift this out. So while we're lifting, we need to check all of these, make sure that it clears. It can snap out of the way. It feels like something is grabbing onto it. I'm not sure what. So there's something on this side. Make sure that clears. That side's clearing just fine. Okay. Alright, so it looks like it's... Okay, maybe this. Well, let's remove this. That shouldn't be holding anything, but we're going to remove it anyways. what's holding this in place. It's none of this. Are there any screws on top here that I missed? I don't see any. Okay, this is holding down. So it looks like we do have to remove the 2 screws here. Oh, that we have to use a PH0 or JIS0 screwdriver. Yeah, I don't know where that metal button piece came from. That's kind of weird. I'm gonna have to open it up and look. That's kind of strange. All right, don't forget these 2 screws here. It looks like those are the last 2 things holding it in place. Hopefully now we can pop this whole piece out. Yep, there we go. And slowly wiggle it out. You want to go at an angle like this, slide it out, and there. All right, let me see if I can find anything that had a button like that, because that's kind of strange. I don't see anything that looks like where that would have come from. There's no side buttons on this. It looks like I could have just left the CMOS or the BIOS battery connected. So I'm going to re-plug that back in. Yeah, I don't know where that little button thingy came from. That's really weird. It could be some of these models, they have a latch that it knows that the computer's opened. Oh, I see. There's this right here. So I don't know how that thing got ripped off, but that thing got ripped off. Let me see where that is in conjunction to this whole thing. So let's put this back in. You have to put it back at an angle like this and then slide it over. Make sure the headphone jack goes flush with the rest, and then you can drop it in. So that button was here. So I don't know what that button's for. I don't know if this, does this push that? Okay, I think this is supposed to be like, yeah, door entry intrusion thing, so it knows that you opened it. There's 4 little solder points, and I don't know how it was ripped like that. There's nothing there. Yeah, that's really strange. All right, anyways, we're gonna go ahead and take this out, and we're gonna replace the charge port. So hopefully that won't cause any issues having that thing out. But here, we'll flip it over. You can see the entire motherboard. The CPU is replaceable on this, but you can only upgrade it so far. I don't know what CPU is currently in there. But yeah, just keep that in mind. Here you can see the charge port connector is here. You got the fan connector here. I'm going to leave these in place. It's all taped in, and then there's the thermal paste and everything. This board is a separate removable piece. So if you do need to replace the CD drive slot or these USB ports or the Ethernet or LAN port, you can replace that whole board. You just take these 2 screws out, and then you can pull this board, oh, I guess that one too. Then you can pull this board up. Okay. All right, so we're gonna swap the charge port now. So this one is pretty much done. I'm gonna set that aside for now. They make it so much work just to get to this thing. It's kind of ridiculous, but all right. So let's see. Let's make sure this port matches. Okay, we got the black, red, blue, orange, brown. Perfect. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is remove this. So I'm gonna slide that up. Okay. Let's see, I'm going to get the replacement one. So we want it the black plastic side facing down, and then we want the black cables on the left side. All right, so what I'm going to do to remove this cable, we're going to lift this cable up, and then I'm going to grab the cable as close as I can to the connector and just wiggle it as I pull it, just like that. Then we're just going to straighten the wire out and then push it through, okay? Just like this. So hopefully this is the only issue with it. I mean, it didn't look like it was broken, but it wasn't charging, it wasn't detecting. And I hope this is the issue and not that little button thingy. If it is that button thing, I'm going to have to figure out a way to get that reconnected. If it is a sensor intrusion thing, I can probably just solder the pins together so it thinks the button's always pressed down. There's only 4 pins there, so yeah, I don't know what that switch is for. It could also be, actually it shouldn't because there's no hole to press that, and it looks like this would push on it. Yeah. So this thing would permanently hold it down. So I don't know. This is, if that's a switch for keeping the computer on, I probably have to just solder something on it together. And I don't think that would prevent it from charging. That wouldn't make sense. But I don't know if you can see here. That little piece is like some of the internal pins look burnt. So I don't know. But yeah, I would assume that those 4 pins just make it so it detects that it's always pressed down. I don't know why there's a hole to the side of that. I don't know. I think it's a switch where it pushes inwards this way or something, but I don't know because it's broken. But I found this metal plate for it as well. Hopefully that didn't short something out inside rolling around. Maybe that's why it wasn't working, but we'll find out when I put it back together. Okay, so we're going to get the other charge port. I wonder if, let me see, are there the LED lights on here to show the charging? I don't see any. Oh, so I'm going to have to reassemble this whole thing before I plug it in to even make sure it's working. I probably should have, I hope this is the right charge port. I didn't make sure that I didn't pick up the old one. Okay, so that's that. If it is, then I'm going to have to go ahead and look for that one again and grab it. Alright, sorry. So we're going to just thread the charge port through, just like before. Have to get it through, route it through this little piece here. Alright, and then guide that down. So the little extended bulged out part goes in front of this piece. Okay, just like this. And I'm going to hold it there while I reconnect this wire. Okay, just like that. Plug that in, and then we're just going to coil this wire back over like it was before. Just like that. Okay, so there we go. We got the charge port replaced. We're going to now put it all back together and hope that everything is working. If it doesn't, then I don't know what else to do. Alright, so I'm going to get this bracket. I'm going to put that back in. There's a little slot here that this thing goes into, and then this goes down on top. Okay, we're going to put this screw in first, just to hold the charge port in place. Alright, I'm probably going to test it without plugging in all the wireless antennas. Well, we'll see. Depends how much effort it is to do that. So we got that. I'm going to put this little piece back in. Okay, so now we're going to put it all back together. Got this. Get the headphone jack. Make sure to slide it in. Line it up. Okay, and slide in both sides. Make sure that the speaker cable does end up back on top. might have to use tweezers or just push it with your finger while you slowly lower it down. Let me see, I'm going to use my screwdriver or needle to do it. Okay. There we go. All right, get the speaker connector in, squeeze the two pieces together. I'm going to switch back to my PH1 or JIS1 screwdriver so I can put back the black screws that were holding the speakers in place. All right, just like that. Then I'm going to switch back to the PH0 or JIS0 screwdriver so I can put back these two screws that hold the optical drive connector down. There's one silver screw. I think it came from here. Yeah. Okay, so I'll take that one screw. Put that one there. Oops, I need to switch back to the PH0 or PH1 or JIS1. There we go. Alright, then we'll put back this little metal lock bracket. Oops. That just slides back down there. Screw goes in, just like that. Alright, and let's put back the screws along the top. Okay. Let's see here. Alright, let's look at the back. Everything's in. Okay, so now we're going to put back the screen. Hopefully I'm not mixing up the order of anything. Get the screen in there. Okay, you want to guide these wires back underneath. They have these little routing things there, so slide them over to the side. Make sure the wires go underneath there. Okay. Alright, grab the hinge screws. Just tighten it down. Alright, grab the other hinge screw. Tighten that down as well. Yeah, I think I'll do the wireless antennas last if I can't. No, I'll just put it all back. Okay, then we're gonna guide all of these wires back in. Just like this. Hopefully everything's on camera. Okay. Alright, so we got all these wires in. Did I mix them around? Yeah, let me put them back so they're in the right order. Not that it really matters, but I like to keep it so it's stacked flat, not like twisting over each other. Okay. Now we'll plug back in this cable and we'll also thread these wires through. So these, they go all the way over here. Alright, I'm gonna put that wire here. Line up the LCD or LVDS connector and then just push it straight down. Okay, I'm gonna put back the two silver screws that were up here. Oh wait, were those on top of this? No, okay. So we can put back these 2 screws if I remember where they came from. I don't remember where the 2 silver screws came from. I know they were here when this was on. What did I miss? Or did I mix it up? There were those 2. I mixed 1 screw. I don't know where this... Did I take this from somewhere else? I think... I'm gonna have to rewatch my video and then see where I got that 1 silver screw. Oh, wait. Was there a bracket or something down here? I forget. There's an extra screw I got from somewhere. This one is not supposed to be here. Because these 2 go here. There's 1 extra silver screw I took out from somewhere up here that I don't remember. I think it's just this up here. Yeah, okay. Alright. Let's thread this through again. Get these wires, guide them under. Alright, follow the cable wiring. Just this. Alright, get that cable underneath. Go. Alright, then I'm going to thread this through the hole. Same with the black wire. Alright. Now this stuff is boring, not something very entertaining. But hopefully you can follow along and repair your devices. My channel is about like no added BS, it's just how to do it. Okay, so we're gonna get this. I'm gonna wrap this cable underneath here. Right, guide the black wire over. Do this. Alright. Then just like before, I'm gonna plug it back to this arrow, the black outline. Okay, make sure it's lined up. You line it up, and then if you try and move your fingernail over it, it just stays still. That's how you know it's lined up. Then push it down. Alright, we're gonna get the other wires now. Okay. Alright, let's get these wires. I'm gonna thread them through this hole as well. Okay. This one has a different hole. Alright, guide that wire through. This wire, guide that through as well. Okay. Get them all in there. Under there. Alright. Get this wire. Guide this wire as well. Okay, we're going to reconnect this cable. Just like this. There we go. Put that latch down. There we go. Alright, so we got all those cables back in place. Flip this over again. Plug this wire in, line it up. Make sure it's lined up. Push it down. I'm gonna route this orange wire over the other way. Alright, and then I'm gonna tuck that underneath the adhesive as well. There we go, just like that. We can actually put this little panel back on. I have a feeling the customer might have opened this panel and then accidentally scraped that button somehow. I don't know. But that's probably why it stopped. I don't know. We'll see if that's what caused it to stop charging. Alright, so we'll take the SSD here. Put that back in. Slide it at an angle like this. Push it in. Drop that down. Oops, sorry if it's going off camera. Put that screw in. Alright, take the CD drive or the optical drive. Slide it in. Alright, put that screw in. We are almost there. Let's put back these two screws that were under this panel down here. Oh, I can't do that till I put the palm rest and stuff back. Okay, let's put back the palm rest. Let's see. Well, I think I can at least put, I'll just put it all back in order. Okay, let's put back the palm rest. Okay. So reconnect the power button, but first we have to reconnect the trackpad cable down here. Hopefully you can see. All right, make sure that latches up. Line this cable up. Put that in. Put the latch back down. Flip this over. Just like the opposite, we kind of lift this up, kind of. And then before we were kind of pulling it out. So now when we put this back in, we kind of have to slide it in as we push this down, okay? So let's see here. Hopefully that will get it to latch back in. Okay, there we go. Just like that. All right, I think that's completely in. I'm gonna snap these edges back in as well. I might have to do a special way to snap it in. Okay, so I'm lifting it up slightly and then sliding it in to get it to go into those little latches. This one is still puffed up a little, so it's not doing it right. So I need to make sure, there we go. Make sure that these rest flat. If it's puffing up, then something's not seating right, and then you have to check that. Okay. Pop all these clips back in place. Go. Alright, we'll get this cable back in. And then we'll flip over this latch. So now we got the power button. Okay. Next we got the keyboard and the track point on the keyboard. So make sure those latches are up. I do the backlight cable first because it's longer. Alright, or actually we can do the keyboard cable first because it has this extra slack. So just kind of guide it. It's a little tricky, but get it like that. Flip over that latch. It might help to have someone help you with that. Alright, get that track point in. And push that latch back down. That's actually a keyboard backlight cable. Okay, now like I was saying earlier, you want to get the top in underneath this palm rest area first. There we go. So just like that, here you can see it's underneath. And then after you have that all underneath, you can push the whole keyboard down below this trackpad area. Okay, that's how you want it. I don't know if they screwed up the keyboard. It's kind of like weird, loppy. All right, and then once you do that, you can pull this keyboard down. And that's how you get it to lock in properly. Okay, and then this piece to pull the frame down, usually you actually have to use like a flathead screwdriver or something, but we do need to put the screws first. So now that it's in that little latch area, you do want to raise this piece up. Oops. So, oh, the keyboard is catching on itself. So let me take the keyboard back out. So what you want, let's see here. You actually want this plastic to be up going underneath the keys. So this caps lock is getting caught on it. There we go. And the tab. Get out. There we go. So this plastic frame, it's supposed to slide up underneath the keys. Okay. And that's how you put those screws in. But let me see here because it's not wanting to do that. So I'm going to go from this side first. I'm going to try and slide it up. Come on. I might have to take it out of the whole frame first. But yeah, usually this, you want the frame to be slid up first underneath all the keys. Okay, just like this. Alright, so this is how you want the keyboard to be, with the frame slid up like that. And when you have it like that is when you tuck, when it should be tucked under here. Okay. It is a bit tricky to do, especially since this keyboard's already like damaged, but yeah. So that's supposed to be like that, and then you get your screwdriver, and then you put the screws in, and this is supposed to hold the keyboard down. Okay, sorry, my head might get in the way a few times because I need to look over the top to see where the screws are. So this is what holds the keyboard in place. Okay, just like that. And then the plastic bracket holds the bottom part from flopping around. So that's how it's designed. Alright, let me take a look at the keyboard, make sure everything is in place. Okay, so we got all the screws. Alright, now that you got all the screws, then you want to take a screwdriver and you want to kind of hold these pieces down so that way you can pull it forward underneath. So here you can see this whole piece is sliding down. That's what you want. You slide this whole plastic piece down, okay? Just like this. And that allows these little feet to stick underneath the frame of the trackpad, or not the trackpad, the, what do you call it, palm rest. There we go. All right, and there we go. That's how you properly install the keyboard for this. All right, so we're gonna flip this back over. Now we got everything in place. We should be able to put back all the screws. Let's put back these two screws. I really hope that fixed their charging problem. If not, hopefully I can just solder those two pieces together and make it think it's permanently closed, that lid. Okay, let me see here. This cover, the screws are up there, so we're gonna put back these. Alright, so in order to record this without interruptions, I had to wake up at like 5 or 6 a.m. So I'm recording this at like around 6. It's like 7 now. Alright, and is there a screw here as well? the last few screws. Alright, put the bottom part of that cover in first, and then push the sides in, and then push the middle, and then this screw should click down the rest. Alright, so here's the liquid spout where the liquid would pour out if you were to spill on it and just left it sitting up. Alright, bottom hinge screw. Sorry, I'm going off camera. Alright. Rear hinge screw. Alright. So these stickers are just for decoration, but they do help also a little bit with keeping the screw from spinning and loosening over time. You can also use thread locker if you do happen to lose the stickers, or just put some tape over it. Okay, sorry, I'm going off camera again. We're just putting the last screw in. And hopefully I didn't forget anything inside, because this laptop was kind of a pain to completely disassemble just to replace that charge port. Alright, so we got all of that, and now I'm going to plug in the charger and see what happens. I don't know if I should plug in their charger first, or if their charger might have caused some problem. But let's try it, since they're going to have to use their charger anyways. Okay. I think the way I'll know it's charging is I'll see the ThinkPad light. This light should light up. So let's plug it in and see. Oh, that light did light up. So I think we're good to go. The red light is on. This light is turning itself on. Oh, the computer turned itself on. So we're good. It's complaining about the CMOS battery because I disconnected it. So it's going to basically ask you to reset the date and time. And if you did stuff with the boot device, you're going to have to reset that as well. So I'm just going to skip that for now. I just want to see if the computer is charging completely. So this is definitely bad. So when I get bad parts like that, I just mark them. I'll just put like an X on it so I know that that's bad. Get firmware version error. What was that? Okay. So it popped up a random error, said get firmware version. We'll see what happens. Real-time clock. Let's skip that. And hopefully it's going to boot up. I don't know if they did something else weird with it, but I guess I'll go to the BIOS because it's being weird. But anyways, that's pretty much all there is to this. Hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, please like and subscribe. Help others find my videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.